What's up, people? So today we are going to talk about the new moon in Libra. It's a very nice one, but there are some spicy parts to it as well. So we're gonna get into all of that. Let's jump right in. Let's not waste any time. It's probably not gonna be like that long of a video. We'll talk about the Mercury retrograde also. I actually want to start with that really quickly because um, it started on the 10th of October, and me and several people I've spoken to, like enough for me to bring this up in a video, have said that they've had insane, not even necessarily sleep problems, just less of a desire to sleep, and I found that interesting because that's how I don't know I just like I don't know. Last night I slept a bunch, but yeah. So I'm not sure how other people are experiencing that, but I find that interesting. But anyways, so new moon in Libra. This is a very pleasant one. Um, new moon in Libra is at 28 degrees. So if you look at your chart and you see where you have 28 degrees, you can see what house it's in, whether you can use whole sign or Placidus, and you can see if it's making any important aspects. Like I just thought of this just right now because so I have my Mercury and my Sun at 28 Pisces, so it's going to be making an exact quincunx to my eighth house Pisces Sun from the second house. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what that gives. Let's hope for the best. But when we say hope for the best, when you have a new moon in Libra, you have to say what planet rules Libra? Venus. Um, so one of the most important elements when you're talking about a new moon in Libra is what's the condition of Libra, or not Libra, of Venus. And in this case, it's in the best sign it can possibly be, which is Libra. Um, it doesn't have any significant aspects that I can see, and it's not conjunct the new moon, but still, it really means that whatever house Libra is for you, if you use whole signs, or if you don't, and there's like a separation where where 28 degrees is in one house and 9 degrees Libra is in the other, then those two would have Venusian activities happening. Now, so this is all very sweet, but then there's a very dark part to this new moon that I'll get into. Not very. We've been through about everything this year, but that's Pluto squaring the new moon, and also to a lesser extent in intensity, obviously Jupiter, but it's just the fact that it forms a T square. But yeah, the Pluto one's definitely way bigger. Now Pluto's also is still in that mini grand trine with Uranus and Neptune, which is always going to help any aspects it makes out. But still, Pluto is becoming really, really important because it is Scorpio season. Or yeah. So with that said, let me backtrack a bit and say that Libra is a sign of love. It's not just relationships, but it's a very peaceful sign about diplomacy. So I see like the energy of this one about you really like tying together loose ties. But because Pluto is square the moon and the sun, but then the moon and the sun are ruled by Libra, it's really this balance, where it's about as far in terms of duality as it can get, right? On one hand, you have an energy that like it's very rare that each year when there's a new moon in Libra that the ruler Venus is in Libra or even Taurus, right? Um, it's once every, once, yeah. So basically, um, that gives a lot of love energy, right? It gives the ability to see the best in other people, and it sort of provides you with in conjunction with that Pluto square, an ability to have a more smooth process of getting through like shadow. I'm tired of saying the word shadow work at this point, but basically like things that are more difficult in your life, whether it's a relationship. You really have to look and see like what's happening. It could even be like something like money or a fear or anything, right? It could be a past life karma. Really look at the condition of this, and also your progressed Venus. What's up with the progressed Venus? Is 28 Libra making? Where's that falling your progressed chart? Is it making any aspects to any progressed planets? Yeah. So, yeah, if this chart was, and then there's also the Scorpio elements here, and there's also a water grand trine, which is very beautiful, right? So we do have some very nice elements to this new moon. So I guess how I kind of put this is that the Libra it's not just romantic relationships, although those can be very important right now. But I'll give you an example. It'd be like a couple, for example, who have during this new moon period, they express a lot of love and they see each other as beautiful. They see each or they see the best in each other, right? Because people who have, you see the cats running around, because people who have like either Venus in the seventh or Venus in Libra, they tend to see the best in their partners and just in people they're close with in general. But sometimes that can be to a detriment if it leads to boundary issues. But yeah, so what's happening is that the ruler Venus is strengthening this new moon, right? So that's even more of that love energy, which is not just like when you just feel good, when you feel flowy, when music sounds good, when Venus it rules a lot. It's money. During Venusian periods, you sort of have this aura, this flow. Like I don't know if any of you guys saw my Instagram. It was like a month or so ago when Venus was in Leo, right on my ascendant, and I forgot about it. And I was getting so many like people telling me how good I looked, right? And I thought I looked like normal or like not like I thought I looked like kind of like I don't know, like overly serious or just like not smiling very much, kind of like now, like just like I mean not I don't know. I just didn't think I looked like very like there's like some big thing that meant that people would send me messages and comments, but of course, and I just finished a 2-day water cleanse, so I was like, wow, the cleanse really did something. Hey, Mika. But no, it was Venus on my ascendant, and so that just shows you the power of Venus, right? So with a square Pluto square Sun and a new moon, new moons are about new beginnings. It's a good time to start new things, depending on the new moon. So, I mean, anything artistic is very highlighted for this new moon. If you want to decorate your house, for example, especially if like you have a fourth house, like your IC is Libra, which would mean you'd have a Aries midheaven. But it doesn't have to just be that. Good time to invest in a new beauty routine or something like that. Something that makes you feel beautiful. Flat with buying flowers, anything to do with color, and just like the nicer things in life, right? I have like all these weird allergies, really scratchy. Sorry, but yeah. So I would say that it's also offering a really, really good opportunity to, if the situation presents itself, like if you're in a relationship or even with a best friend, or someone who you're really, really close with, someone that you work with, like as a business partner, or even an open enemy, to have that really, really tough conversation that you sort of need to have to move to get past that resentment. I'm not going to go really preacher mode in this one today. I'm going to be a little bit more pragmatic Capricorn. I thought Pluto, I guess. Yeah. Well, I think that obviously when you have any kind of resentment for anyone, what's the quote that everyone's heard is that resentment or hatred towards someone else is like having poison or drinking. It's like you drinking poison and thinking that someone else is going to get sick from it, but really you get sick from it. And if you consider your energy, right, like every day you wake up or you don't sleep, but you have your day. Every minute that you have anger for someone, or any kind of like that your spirit, your mind, your consciousness, instead of thinking about the like what I did yesterday. I did my first ever vlog. um, I think I'll release it. Honestly, it was one of the best days of my life yesterday. Like it was insane. Like I had more fun doing that than anything I've ever done. Like I love astrology to death, but I was just walking around Buenos Aires, and the whole premise was that I was not gonna I didn't plan it. I'm not gonna get into all that right now. I posted it on my Instagram, but basically I've always known that travel YouTube and that kind of thing. Before it was like everyone was doing it. Like I was very interested. I always thought that, I don't know. But then when all these people started doing it, I was like, nah. But it actually happened yesterday, and it was so fated how it happened. And that's kind of what I'm saying, is that when things are meant to happen, they do, right? And my point is, I'll always be an astrologer, but I'm only showing able to show one side of myself right now. Yeah, I can kind of show my Sag side, crazy jokes, and I just I have my full personality. I'm being very authentic, but I'm more serious, right? But that allowed me. I was talking to all these people. I was just so stupid with the directions, and then my phone died right before I made the best. I went to different places. I tried to get a girl's phone number. So that's kind of how it all started. There's just so much that happened, and it was just such a cool showcase of Buenos Aires and how beautiful it is. And I don't know, it just felt like this is I was just smiling the whole time. And when the camera was, I just had my phone like this, and when it was on me, I was just so happy. I mean, especially after, just those, yeah. Anyways, back to what I'm saying. But that is an example of a passion. You know, like even though Libra, like that's like that's my version of creativity, perhaps, right? Um, you could say like, well, that's content, that's more like a like Aquarius or something like that, but or Dharma, 10th house. But no, I fifth house Leo, like it was just fun, and um, I I really think that back to my example of the relationship, that sometimes there's conversations that we have to have to let go of resentments for the potential, like I was saying, to have days like that. Not that I have like that my days are always like that amazing, but like imagine if yesterday, right? Because there are people who have wronged me. Even recently, I had someone wrong me. Um, yeah, I didn't really have a choice in the matter. I had like I had to take the gamble, knowing that was a possibility. But nothing serious, like nothing like bad happened to me. Like it just someone deceived me a little bit. Well, actually, it wasn't me. It was someone I cared about. But yeah. So what I'm saying is that this is a good time to set intention with the Pluto square about that any kind of hatred, or and also and how you can let that go, because there's this amazing Venus energy, right, which is going to help conversations. It's going to help coming together. And speaking of conversations, Mercury conjunct Mars in Scorpio, trine Jupiter, trine Saturn in Pisces. That's called a grand trine in water. So that's beautiful. And what that's going to do is that's going to add Venus conjunct Mars in Scorpio is the investigator. It's the and there's that connection with the Pluto, right? So essentially, that's where I'm at. I see. Interesting. It could be a time where you're really able to dig deep into your more like emotional reserves, I guess you could say. Like there's more you have, like it's almost like new moons are not known for having that high level of like understanding of consciousness of your unconscious, excuse me. That's Mika's foot. But this one does, um we put those all together, and you have Mercury, which is communication and which is understanding, which is so when I talk about these conversations, it's also conversations with yourself. Then Mars with Mercury actually gives you the willpower to do the things, especially in a strong dignity placement of Scorpio, to do the things that you're talking about, right? So that's just those two together. And I would even look at like where's 20 Scorpio for you? It's around my IC. Now Black Moon Lilith is also part of that, but um, you know, I've always kind of, I mean, I guess like I would say that it just adds more of this like ability to speak your darkness, and to speak the parts of you that you manifest what you want to let go of, right? That's what Scorpio is about. It's about letting go and surrendering. And so back to the squares of Pluto, and the grand trine. Well, the fact that it's such a beautiful new moon in Libra, ruled by Venus in Libra, right? And that there's this incredible so grand trine, and then that there's this square with Pluto, which is usually like horrific and just extremely difficult. There's so much good, and there's the mini grand trine too, right? Of Uranus. Which is like Uranus sextile Neptune, sextile Pluto, and then Pluto trine Uranus, right? So it's like you have one. I mean, the grand trine counts for 3. Really more because of conjunction of Mars and Pluto. And then even more because the Jupiter trines Neptune also. So it's really 6. So you have, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So you have 6, 6 plus the ruler of the new moon, Venus being exalted in Libra. That counts as probably, I'd say that counts as 4. Like it's that 3. That's so strong, right? I mean, it's no 4. Screw it. So you have 10 points in like the light energy, and it's a new moon, which are typically less intense. And then you have just Pluto, you know, doing its thing. Let me look at one thing too, really quick. I just had this open. Hold on. Oh yeah, I'm tripping. I can't believe I said what I said. I'm just Mercury retrogrades in November. I'm not used to American months, right? I looked at like this thing, but I have found it interesting that the sleep has been so weird. Maybe I'll look into that. So yeah, awesome. I made a mistake. Let me write that for my editor. Erase Mercury. Well, now you guys will know I made a mistake. Okay, so yeah, so that's the energy, right? Is as we're moving into, you know, I say every video, this completely new era, and energetically, it's not, we're still in the liminal space, right? But way less. And over the next few months, it's gonna get more. Like, you know, here's Ina. Oh, so. Oh, you guys stand me? I have both April 19th. April 19th. Just a few years separated, right? I think this cat thinks, she thinks I'm a big cat. Mika is a genius. She's, Mina's not like, she's smart too. It's just like Mika's like the most special animal I've ever encountered. So, did you bite me? No, stay please. You're so soft. You're like the softest cat. She's so soft. So yeah, so basically, sorry, Mika. I hope you have such a Scorpio moon. Jealous. Yeah, so the water grand trine, right? Okay, how does this work? So, like I said, Mercury, Mars, I love it. And Scorpio, also great time for esoteric, research. Great time for, yeah, therapy, speaking about things. That's kind of like the big theme here. It's like let me think of a metaphor. You know, you need to lose weight. I don't know how you gain. You just gain. Somehow you like gain weight when you're around me. Like, even if I don't feed you like a crazy amount. Like, I don't get it. But anyways, yeah, it's like being in Bali or, you know, Fiji, Tahiti, Costa Rica, Argentina. You know, yeah. Let's say like more tropical places, but being somewhere beautiful, right? Energetically, but then and then also being in a great mood, but then having something important to talk about that maybe's been held in for a long time. And it could be, it doesn't have to be like it is Libra, but it still could very well be about power dynamic, or like it could be about internal messaging with the Mercury, like in Mars, right? But there's really this like deep investigative energy of like understanding the truth. Especially because Jupiter trines Mercury, which is very good for seeing the big picture, especially in Scorpio. And with Jupiter in Cancer, it's being able to see the big picture of the past. And with Mars, it's like, I'm going to take action on on the revelations I'm having. So this is go time, in a way. But there's a lot of tact and diplomacy where you're not like being like Aries energy, right? Like going full on. So yeah, basically, I love this, and I really think that the best thing you can do is find creative outlets and really like kind of try to think of like also habits, obsessions. Pluto deals in extremes, so because of like this Scorpio season is a very interesting one, and yeah, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But hold on, let me see one thing. Okay, good. Yeah. So but then there's also this energy. Let me see this. Yeah, of Jupiter. Jupiter is also square the. It's a T square, right? So it's Pluto opposite Jupiter, but like barely, like very loose opposition, and both of them are squaring the new moon. So what Jupiter can do is Jupiter can bring too much, right? It can be a bit impulsive in a square, but it can also in this context, and of course it's making a very good aspect to the Scorpio planets. It's like the truth is there, right? It's like the truth, but like Libra is about being smooth and being diplomatic and not like shouting, like I just said, and not like and saying things in the right way, but in the right timing. So that's an advantage. But with Jupiter, sometimes it's like taking on too much. Superman, I call it Superman, Superwoman. God, this eyes bother me so much. Syndrome, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, I could do that, I could do this, I could do that. Like say it's in the context of a relationship, and it's like, you're making all these, like, you're with a narcissist, you're with like someone that it just doesn't work with, but like the Libra energy. No, I'm not saying it's like Neptune, in that, like, but what I'm saying is that, you know, you start making concessions, like, yeah, I'll change this about me, but then like in a few months you regret it, right? Um, in tandem with Pluto, though, I'm gonna sip of this tea, this matcha. Yum, yum, yum. So let me sit on this for a second, guys. Do you guys mind if I today I was like, I sometimes talk way. I mean, I do think really, really fast. So today I try to like something different. I try to like I like being like that, like extremely like fast, like a Mercury Sun Kazemi. But I today I was like, I'm gonna meditate and go and then just record and speak like very slowly, right? So maybe I don't know. You guys can let me know if you like it. Um, but yeah, so sometimes I just need to like look at things. I mean, Jupiter, Pluto, oh God, allergies, is like on one hand the shadow, the conversation, like I think there's this big element of power dynamics, right? So if you have relationships where there's like skewed power dynamics, there can be things that come up around that. If you have, on a psychological level, certain tendencies that are low vibe Scorpio, as we see with the Scorpio planets, right, in the Black Moon, manipulation, gaslighting. Let me pull up a list of like, hold on, let's just do this for fun. But just like psychologically controlling people, right? Using your like obsessed with drama. I don't even know why. I had to search it because yeah. Let's see what it says. Yeah, emotional obsessiveness, right? Like just being like fixated on someone and needing your outcome, right? Because it's a fixed energy. So the whole goal with Pluto and Scorpio is surrender, but it's also very based, as I talked about in other videos, to trauma. So this is like one of the amazing, the way I see it, like this is a new moon that you can like let go of trauma that is the biggest trauma in your soul's history, potentially. I know that sounds extreme, but that's what Pluto represents in a lot of ways, right? Um, Hold on. Yeah. So I think like a lot can be addressed. And then you add, Neptune to that grand trine, Neptune trining the Mercury and Mars and Scorpio, and that adds a lot of compassion, and more of a smoothness when sometimes the Scorpio, Mars, and Mercury, that can be the person that like if they feel that they're being backed against a wall, they're going to go to war psychologically, right? Or because they're going to see it, it's going to give you the you're going to have a great chance of seeing and noticing like it's very, very high intuitive energy. It's Scorpio. Um, I think it's a great month for studying like anything spiritual, esoteric, how the world really works. But honestly, if you are a painter, if you are an artist of any kind, if you are a musician, if you're a poet, you don't have to have the title. If you're a writer, even though it's more third house, it doesn't matter. Like, if there's anything, hold on. if there's anything that you are like creatively, artistically that you love, um, a lot of people have fears like, why would I start singing or making a song, because like I'm never gonna, I'm gonna have 4 followers, or like, you have to start somewhere, and sometimes there's a lot of spiritual um, importance, and not importance. There's a lot that happens when you don't even show anyone, right? When you just do it only for you, and like, so create, bringing beauty, like like I said, redesigning your room, your space, clearing out the old. That's another thing that Pluto is about, is letting go. Don't be like not being a hoarder, physical, but more so spiritual, emotional. Like what are you holding on to in your sun and your moon, and the feminine and the masculine part of your psyche, that is putting you more in your ego than your soul? Let me give you an example. Let's say that you are, I always say that you're an astrologer. Yeah, you're an astrologer, or anything. And you care more about being famous, have, making a lot of money, looking really, just like, you care so much about the financial side, and the power side, and in becoming, but like, and not that those things, that you shouldn't want those things, but it's to the point where you're screwing people over. um that would be a good example of like, this energy, right, of like someone who is more, when it's Pluto is soul versus ego, you choose soul. Like, I had a recent experience where I, you know like I was kind of referring to it earlier, I had to, I didn't have to do anything, but I chose to do something. How I frame this? Basically, someone that I trusted fucked me over, kind of, and it led to issues with someone else that I really respect and like, and I had to basically pay him for something that was the result of something that I didn't do, right? So, anyways, and then there's other stuff too, but yeah. So I want to talk more about Pluto, and then we'll get back into stuff like, but self-destruction. Like Pluto is very obsessed, very like, so like having like sun and moon, right? The anima. It's like, this is both sides, right? So this is a really, really important new moon. I saw one astrologer talk about it, and he even mentioned the Pluto square. I'm just like, and he's a good astrologer. So I'm like, what the fuck? But some people don't really care so much about the psychological, and the growth, and the, and the evolutionary astrology, right, and the karmic astrology, I guess. But yeah, so sex also, obviously Pluto, right? Like using sex as power, addiction, right? Like kind of this potential to, like, where is your power coming from? Is it coming from within of who you are, or from the external, right? That's a big theme with Pluto. But the big one that keeps coming back to me is the resentment, and the drama, and the heaviness, energetic heaviness that life can have. And and Libra represents the opposite of that, right? It's the lightness, it's the balance. So, also, I think that this could also manifest as like someone overly identifying with their pain, and they're the victim, and they're also they're healing, but then it's like this always needing this crisis to feel alive, and without, when the waters are flat, and something feels off, right? And then there's control, right? There's, there's death, like there's like complete surrender and being able to let go of a part of you, or, and a complete identity shift, right? And so this being a new moon with the square of Pluto is a big deal, and the fact that it has the dignity rulership is crazy. And then a water grand trine with Mercury conjunct Mars, two personal planets conjunct each other, and then having Neptune, or excuse me, Saturn and Neptune, but Neptune's in fire. Saturn and Jupiter trining. I mean, like Saturn, the effect that has here is it's bringing more order and more of it balances out with Jupiter, right? But they're in trine, so they're working together. It's like the big thinker philosopher working with like the builder, right? So I don't like the word manifestation is the only word like this is I'm not someone who's like using that word a lot because I don't like I just don't like it. I don't like new age words. But yeah, building something like speaking something into existence. This is very, very, very good for this for this new moon. Let's see what else. Yeah, I just speaking truth, taking risks. That just kind of came to my head. Like, one risk is that the energies might feel very, very good, right? And there are still, obviously like like the energies might feel very, very good to where, that it's kind of like opening a door for you to do something that's gonna like benefit you forever, and really represents like this next step you need to take spiritually to truly evolve. But it's gonna feel good with the Libra energy that you're gonna be like, oh, I'm good. I don't want to go. I don't want to like ruin the vibe or something, right? Not that that'd be ruining the vibe, because you could be having like very, very deep conversations about tough subjects that are very hidden in your unconscious is very illuminated during this new moon, which is very rare. I had something else. It just came and left. Oh, yeah. So with the T square, then you think, okay, well, where does it shoot out? 28 Aries. So if we think about Jupiter and Pluto squaring the new moon, and Jupiter can also bring a lot of ego into it, right? It can bring like a I'm always right. It can bring like I said, like overshooting things, overdoing, over indulging, and yeah, and not being willing to budge. And Pluto, and combined with Pluto, so it could be, yeah, that's kind of a manifestation. Now, of course, Libra being so relational, you're trying to find a resolution here that works for both parties. Sometimes the answer is boundaries. Like sometimes you have to just leave the person, or leave the situation. Aries is about independence, assertiveness, fire, and like I'm gonna say it how the fuck it is, right? I don't give a fuck what you think. That's Aries, right? Like I'm saying it, and I'll think about it after. It's raw, just raw fire Mars energy. Speaking of, who just ran? That was literally Esme, who is Mars and Aries, who just like crashed into the couch and sprinted into the room. So she's sending a message. So sometimes you have to make those types of crashes, right? And you'll be very, very psychologically, intuitively in like in sync, or is that either way? It's an Aries sun and moon, new moon, and Jupiter. So there's a lot of Aries, and Mika's an Aries sun too. So a lot of Aries cats around here. So yeah, so basically like this is like kind of like if you're in a situation in any area of life, right? I'm not gonna name all of them. You use your imagination. Or, it could be work. It could be a living situation. It could be like so many different things. Like if it doesn't work now, the having the meeting, right? Sitting down, wearing a nice shirt like this. No, but like in if it doesn't work now, I don't know if it's gonna work. And be careful. Like I said, be careful not to pencil yourself into things that are not gonna be good for you. Yeah, overindulgence. Watch out for drugs, alcohol. I'd stay away from them with this type of energy because it can skew things a lot, and it can make you go overboard with the Jupiter square and like with that Scorpio energy. You know, Mercury conjunct Mars and Scorpio is like, you might say something. It could be like, there's some things that you say that can't be unsaid, and actions also. I would use it more in the esoteric power, and just try to discover a lot. So, I'm gonna leave it there. Pretty short for one of my videos. How long was it? Oh, 47 minutes. Holy shit, that felt like 20. Time is so weird now. Like on my my vlog trip yesterday. Wow, that's crazy. Like my camera died. I thought I lost like a huge part of my video, but then I didn't. I did lose like probably, but I thought it was at least 30 minutes. And it turns out it was only like 15 tops. And I'm just like, how is that even possible, Like when my phone died to when I got home. Like it was more than 15 minutes. There's no way. Yeah, so time's been really weird. But anyways, guys, thank you. Let me know what you how you guys are experiencing this, or how you guys have been with every new moon and full moon. I'm always curious to kind of. I don't always respond to the comments, but I read them. I'm really bad with responding to things. Like I get in moods where like I'll read everything, and like I sometimes feel weird if someone wrote like a really thoughtful thing to just put a heart, But maybe that is more polite than not answering. I don't know. But I do read everything. So thank you. Hope everyone has a beautiful, beautiful new moon. And we will be back every Monday. Ciao.